Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 249 Southwest 6th Avenue here in Canby. We're located in the backyard going through a 3-inch cast iron cleanout that's in the concrete patio. We'll show that here in just a minute when we reel out. It's kind of a tricky one to get into. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We do have water running and we zeroed out right at the base of the cleanout. Off we go. And we're going to be doing most of the inspecting as we come backwards. We're going to keep the camera moving quickly, but we're into, looks like 4-inch concrete pipe. Looks like you've got some dirt coming through the joint there as well as a root. Going through some more roots here as well. We were hitting a Y connection here in the sewer line. We're going to do some locates to see where that's at. And we've located a Y connection here in the sewer line. This is, if you're looking at the front of the house, straight off the front right corner of the home. And we're having the neighbor run water. We're going to see if anything comes tying in here. Hey, we're gonna have the neighbor just do a toilet flush here. There's a little bit of water coming from behind the camera, and I don't want to get confused as to where that water's coming from. It's very hard to tell unless you have a big rush of water come shooting down the pipe. At this point here, we've had the neighbor run water from a sink or fixture in the house as well as do a toilet flush. We're going to give it about another minute here. If we don't see anything coming through, it would not appear to be a party line. All right, at this point, we had the camera paused there for a minute so you weren't staring at nothing for 10 minutes straight, but no water has come through the line here. This does not appear to be a party line as far as I can tell. No water has traveled past that or through the Y. think the line is belling out here to 6 inch. It's kind of hard to tell on a turn like this, but it does appear to be belling out. It appears we have a root strand coming through that joint there at 93 feet. I'm hitting a small lip. It's not even a big lip. It's just we're almost 100 feet out, and I'm losing all my leverage. My camera's getting caught up on a minor offset here. We're going to let the line drain out. We'll see how everything looks on the way back. Oh, God. I relocated the camera head successfully. I put a white arrow in the roadway just to show where the camera stopped. This lip is just, it's hanging the camera up. It's not a big offset. I'll pull back here so you can see it. It's almost nothing. There's basically nothing there. It's just the distance we are now, my camera does not want to scoot past that. And that's after we put a garden hose in the line and ran it full bore. So, and I paced it off. We're roughly 20 feet away from the main lateral connection. We're going to start going back here. And that does appear to be a root there at 93 feet poking through the joint. And at this point in its existence, it is not affecting functionality. And this is located about 3 feet off the street curb out into the roadway on Southwest 6th Avenue. I put a small marking down just a few feet away from the arrow marking I drew where we stopped at. And at 96 feet, I was getting a depth there of around 5'9". But you should contact the city. The city of Canby may actually be responsible for that portion of the sewer line. If they are, they're not going to fix that. The root's is not causing problems. I recommend it be repaired because I don't know if the roots came through yesterday or 20 years ago. But I would contact the city and find out if they're responsible in the roadway. And here's that Y connection. I did put a marking. Again, it's right off the front right corner of the house. You can't miss it. It's a big white marking. I would suggest looking into it to verify that there's no other lines tied in here. The city shows any record of a party line. At this point, the person that makes the most sense to connect in would be the neighbor to the right. And as far as we know, they ran water, flushed toilets, and no water came through here. So as best I can tell, it does not appear to be a party line, but I would recommend verifying that or trying to see if the city shows record of it anyway. We do have a root intrusion here just prior to the Y connection. All right, this is marked just adjacent to the Y marking. I put an X just before it. We're at 3 feet 5 inches deep there. Everything from this point back to the clean out access is under just dirt and grass. A tiny root coming through here at 43 feet. Now that's also marked. We're going to do markings about every 10 to 15 feet at this point. We have roots throughout the vast majority of this first 53 feet or so. A lot of them are towards the start of the line. At the point this line is in its existence, so I would not recommend spot repairing each individual one out to 53 feet. I would recommend just updating all the way to that point. The root that's in the roadway I would say is fairly unlikely to turn into anything big. That thing has probably been there a long time. I have to recommend a repair on it because feasibly it could turn into something that looks like that, but I think it's unlikely. There are no large trees out front. It's more than likely a really lucky root from a bush near the curb that magically found its way to the line. And this spot here is right near the crawl space access. We're right around 3 feet deep here. And here we're still right around 3 feet. And then another Y connection here at 19 feet. I'll mark that as well. I would check into these. These could all be just simply downspout connections or storm drain tie-ins. The locations of them are a little odd to be downspout tie-ins, but it's very possible. I haven't seen water coming from any of these at this point other than just this house. And here we're about 2 foot 10 inches deep. Last marking we're going to do here will be at the transition from cast iron to concrete. And you've got another tie-in right here. That one could be another fixture inside the house. That's coming in from the house's direction. So that's not a scary one there. That could be a party line connection or anything like that. That would be extremely unusual. All right, we're back to the cast iron transition here. This portion is under concrete. It's not terribly deep. We'll get that marked here, and then we're going to run water inside just to verify water's coming through those. Okay, so that's from one of the sinks there. I believe that pretty much everything runs out to the exterior and ties into the main line, unlike a lot of houses that everything converges inside the crawl space. I think your bathroom and then your laundry kitchen area have two separate lines that come out and tie in on the exterior here. I've got this final spot here marked because the amount of root intrusions we have through the concrete pipe, which is a very common thing with concrete. I recommend all of the concrete pipe on the exterior of the house here be updated. That includes any branches that are coming off of some of these sinks or these other lines that are tying into the outside of the home. The other option too would be to converge them all in the crawl space and run them out as one single line and bypass this stuff, but do whatever's most cost effective, makes the most sense. But I do recommend everything. I have to recommend a repair at 93 feet. That's a liability, to be honest with you. That thing I really do not think is going to turn into anything or amount to anything. Before anything happens there, though, contact the city to verify if that's even in homeowner responsibility. That route, in my opinion, really at this point is not going to be worth doing a repair on, not unless you're going to be fixing the entire line all at once. The cost incurred to fix that one thing that's not blocking or affecting functionality at all is rather extreme. But everything out to 53 feet, including the branches coming off the house into the line out here, I recommend all the concrete pipe be updated. And if it's not really an added cost, I would recommend taking care of the cast iron as well if there's any of it. Once you've got that stuff dug up, adding or removing the cast iron and whatnot should not add much in the way of cost. And after any repair work is done, I highly recommend rescoping to check the repair work. The line here ranges between 2'5" at the start, out to 3.5 feet deep. At the end of that, the majority of the repair here out to 53 feet of that Y connection. I do recommend, again, looking into records to see if there's any record of a party line connection. We have two separate Ys coming in. See if you can flush those out. Everything from 53 feet out, even though you do have a teeny tiny little root at 93 feet, has good flow and is functioning properly at this time. I obviously can't get out beyond about 96 feet, but I see no flow or signs of flow problems beyond that point.